Welcome everybody to the Swedish-Polish Chamber of Commerce seminar on technology at its best. My name is Hans Jakob Bonnier and I'm the chairman of the chamber. Well, the technical evolution gets faster and faster. The one who is not on the train will be a loser when the train leaves, and the train has already left. I come from a company that is publishing books and newspapers, and the shift have happened already 3 years ago when our revenue became digital subscription revenue instead of advertising revenue. So 75% advertising became 75% subscription revenue, which for a publisher is very nice because then we're selling what we know how to do, the articles. Anyway, there is an industrial family in Sweden called Wallenberg. Perhaps you've heard of them. They said last week that the change from the old technique to what's coming is the only tradition worth keeping, which means that new technology has to be first thing on the agenda.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. My name is Mathias Johansson. I come from a company called Alleima. So let's jump into it. How many of you has heard about Alleima? Hands up. Great. It's 30% maybe. How many of you have heard about the company called Sandvik? Good. Alleima is the mother of Sandvik. So that's where we started our operations. Looking at Alleima then, what are we? We are a world-leading advanced materials company. We operate in all types of industrial segments. We love steel. We love alloys. The more complicated, rugged environment we operate in, the better we believe it is for us. So for instance, the nuclear industry, the medical industry are two industries which are highly regulated and has a lot of demands on the products that comes out. Roughly 21 billion in revenues. As if you know your history, you know roughly 2.5 years ago we were spun out of Sandvik. As I said, we started in 1862 when Consul Fredrik Göransson went over to England, bought the Bessemer method and went back to Sandviken and started producing steel. We have roughly 80% recycled steel in our products. 80 markets we serve, 40 sales offices and 26 production sites around the globe. Now, how does digitalization come into play here in manufacturing? Well, I would start with the megatrends. This is impacting every manufacturing company around the world. There is a changing demographics, which means that essentially we live longer, which means there's more medical investments needed for us. There is an increasing and changing energy demand, as that's something we read about every day. We know there's maybe a slight hiccup in the electrification trend right now, especially in automotive, but the overall trend is very, very clear. Growth in emerging markets. So there is a growing middle class all over the world, which puts demands on energy and medical as well. Now, what kind of pressure does that put from a digitalization perspective? Well, I think the quote you made from Wallenberg is great. You know, it's never going to be as slow as it is today. which means we need to work with digitalization all over our processes. If you look at the traditional manufacturing like Alleima, we are working with, for instance, artificial intelligence to improve yield in our electric arc furnace. That's as physical as a process as you can get. And AI is helping us every day to improve that process. But we also need to work with our customer journey. So working with efficiency e-commerce channels, both for our Kanthal business and our tube business, is extremely important. During the pandemic, we had an issue because for our strip business, which produce razor blade steels, we build bespoke machines. So obviously, during the pandemic, we weren't able to ship engineers to China to set up the machines. So we actually built a digital twin of that machine and used that digital twin as a way of training our operators on how to assemble the machine. So what I'm trying to say essentially is you need to keep up. The technology development is happening all over, and the agenda needs to cover each and one of your processes. You can't have a presentation like this without talking about AI. Now, I think AI is a super interesting technology, of course, but for us, that's been in the technology, area for a number of years. We often forget to talk about the problems we need to solve, and they are quite consistent for our operations. So I think AI is great, but what does AI mean for Alleima? Well, I think for us, it's in the material and product development space. How can we optimize designs, create and fine-tune alloys? Production, how do we understand what happens in every step of the production process to be able to combine machine data with product data and process data? Predictive maintenance. We want to fix things before there's a failure. And there, I think, AI and generative AI hits a clear sweet spot. Supply chain optimization. Make sure that we understand where do we have stock or inventory management, and what can we do to optimize that. And I think there is a sort of last area that's going to be more and more important, which is the digital employee experience. I think we've sort of, as employees, we have gotten accustomed to having maybe sometimes a worse experience at work compared to how we actually drive digital development at home. That's not going to be acceptable moving forward. What we've done in Alleima is we actually established a digital center of excellence. So roughly 16 months ago, we started building our own generative AI solution. One of the core assets for us is our 60,000 documents stemming from the 1930s up until today on how we actually both develop a new alloy, but also the process around how to actually produce that alloy. So what we did was we took all of those 60,000 documents, we put them in a private Azure environment and trained generative AI algorithms on it. That went live in, I think it was August this year. So 250 of our researchers is now using this tool on a daily basis. And I think the result so far has been extremely positive. We can see up to 60% increase in efficiency based on initial tests. What does it mean in practice? It means that if we're researching on a new alloy, we don't have to find information again. Previously, we need to search all of our databases to see, have we done research on this alloy before, or is this new research? Is there any contradictions in our research database already now? And can we do sort of alternative input in the research process compared to what we're doing today? Coming back to the KPI part, we've actually seen both increase in efficiency. This is one KPI, but it's done from a anecdotal test, which is a bit dangerous, right? But we also see that the quality is improving. So I would be happy to talk more about that. There are other areas where we can use more KPIs to steer, but the positive effects are clear. So this is where we've started. Now I have actually a movie. Let's see if it works. It doesn't work, so I'll talk through it. And it comes back to AGI. What do we think is next, or what do I believe is next? Well, one of the challenges in manufacturing is that there is a lack of standards. There's so many technologies out there, which makes it hard to integrate these different technologies. That's where I think humanoids will play a super important part. This video, should I try again? Yeah. It might work. But this video is from a startup called Figure. They work together with BMW. They've deployed these bots in the BMW, or humanoids in the BMW Spartanburg facility. I'll talk through it and we'll see if it gets working. Otherwise, I'll send the link to every one of you. And I think the results are astonishing. You know, it's 4 times faster than having humans on the assembly line. It's 7 times more accurate. And it does more than 1,000 displacement every day. And it has a speech interface, so it's conversational as well. I think this is going to be huge for manufacturing because it actually conveys or merges different technologies together, both physical and software technologies such as generative AI or AGIs. A couple of key takeaways from my end then. If you look at digitalization, especially in manufacturing, what do I believe is important? I think this was previously mentioned. Disruptive technologies will create new business environments, and that's something every company needs to prepare for. So stay curious and be ready to change fast. I've been in technology 25 years. I think the last 5 years has been amazing from sort of new types of technologies coming into the scene. And it's easy to deploy and easy to implement. I think that's the big difference compared to 10 years ago. Digitalization is a multidisciplinary team sport with a business outcome. Don't get stuck in proof of concept or don't get too sort of in love with the technology as such. So keeping a clear eye on what is it that's best for my company where we can apply technology. I think that's extremely important. I believe manufacturing always will carry a complex legacy. If I've been previously in the CNC business or in the machining business, an average CNC machine has a life cycle of 25 years. You're not going to change a machine just to sensorize it. It's just the way it is. We have PLC layers, we have SCADA systems, we have MES systems. The complexity is going to stay for, I think, a foreseeable future. That's why I think the humanoid technology is such an interesting technology, because it bridges things. And the purpose of technology investment needs to be either improving the customer journey, having better products, and or enhanced operational efficiency. If you don't tick one of the boxes, don't do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this. And let me now introduce our next speakers, Calder and Emma Viklund from Skanska, who I believe are going to share with us how to get into the fast track. Is that right?
Hello. Thank you very much for inviting us here today. Emma and I are both representing Skanska, and we'll be talking to you about AI in construction, from a slow start to a fast track. So firstly, I'll introduce Skanska for you all. So Skanska, as you can see by the blue marks on the map, is a very global company. We work in the US, we work in the UK, the Nordics, and in Central Europe. Our key streams of business are within construction, residential development, commercial development, and investment properties. We have 27,000 employees globally. Massive company, big global experience. And our group strategy, what's our key thing from group? So we have the knowledge and foresight to shape the way we live. So you can see some little green marks on the map. So my name's Sarah. I come from a civil engineering background. Just 4 weeks ago, I was project managing in the UK on a highway scheme. And Emma.
Yes, and my name is Emma Viklund. I work as innovation lead at Skanska Group. I've been with Skanska as a company for almost 20 years, mainly in the Swedish operations for a very long time, but also zooming out since a couple of years back on a global scale on the full group perspective.
So, title of our presentation, From a Slow Start to a Fast Track. What do we mean by this?
Okay, to introduce you a bit to the construction industry, we start off with this page. Construction industry is the red dot on this scheme that you see. That's a digital newcomer. And why do we end up here? And I'll give you some background to that. Construction is still a low-tech industry. We still do hammers and nails and wheelbarrows. We haven't implemented like the digital tools on the market in scale yet, as BIM models, for example. It's also a fragmented industry. That's a lot of small and mid-sized companies that maybe don't have the muscles to invest in new technology in the same pace. And if you compare that to more centralized industries, that's quite a large difference. There's also a piece of education and safety to be able to work in new ways in a traditional industry. A lot of education is needed, and this takes time and it drives cost. And if the education piece is not there, there's also a risk perspective of using technologies that you don't have the power of understanding how the impact could be. The construction projects is also like a long-term perspective. There's quite long time from planning, designing, and then to the construction phase, which means that if you want to implement new techniques, you need to be in the forefront many years ahead to get that into actual construction projects. On top of that, we also have the cultural perspective. We need to change the culture within our employees and within the customers and in the leadership and management, because using digital tools is a new way of working for many people, and this needs to be change management and led by the culture and understanding this into the future. Then there's a piece about data and collecting, storing, and using data is not something that we're used to. We do have a lot of data in the construction industry, unstructured and stuck into silos. So that's also like a barrier for us to override. And then there's an investment perspective. This change will take time, and investments are needed early up to be able to do the transformation and the shift needed. And this is a bit of the background for why we are a digital newcomers. And if we take the next slide, you will also see how we have progressed so far. So on this chart, you see construction industry below zero. So we have actually not performed at all over the last 25 years from a productivity perspective. We're lagging behind. And that a reason for that is connected to the last slide that I showed you, but it's also that during this time period, a lot of the other industries has actually adopted digital tools and automation that has increased their productivity. And at the same time, we have a regulatory landscape targeting the construction industry, which makes us a bit heavy on the regulatory perspective. So this is a gap that we need to fill in the future. And how can what possibilities and opportunities do we see within this?
So to summarize a lot of what Emma was saying there, so construction really is at the brink of digital adoption and transformation. In terms of the end market, so I'll just draw your attention to some of the facts on the slides. 200 million workers are in the design, build and operate ecosystem. That's a lot of people. We're still at the early stage of digital transformation. As Emma showed in that first slide, we're among the bottom 3 for digital transformation. We're facing a productivity challenge. Again, as Emma showed, not as productive as we should be, and we're really lagging behind that curve. The third negative is that we're very much, as an industry, not Skanska, but as an industry as a whole, 50% of construction projects have cost or budget overruns. 35% of them are delayed. And if you look into the root causes, it's to do with insufficient planning, communication, and collaboration. So that's a lot of the negatives. The positives. The majority of our decision makers see digitalisation as one of the key drivers to transform the way that we work. And maybe some good news for some people in the room. Between 2022 and 2026, we're expecting 40 to 50% increase in software and digitalisation. So
this is a fantastic opportunity for the construction industry, and of course we need to adapt this. So what do we do at Skanska?
So AI at Skanska. It's based on a very simple equation. It's about data, having the right data, having it in sources that we can access and utilise. It's about having trust in the systems, but also the capability. And the third one, which is probably the most important, similar to the previous speaker, it's got to be value adding. There's no point doing something if it's not going to add value. So that is AI at Skanska. And we look at it from a number of different lenses. So 3 key things there. So projects and process. The reason they're green is because we'll come back to those later on with a few examples. So you've got projects, process and knowledge, things which we'll be doing to use AI for the benefit. And the building blocks of that, what do we need? Education and capability. So we'll kick off with the process one, the very famous phrase, lots of smirks in the room. AI will not replace you, but somebody using AI will. So an example of this process and what Skanska have done, and I'm hoping this video works. There we go. So Skanska have developed their own AI tool called Skanska Sidekick. And the example which is going through there is a 720-page document full of text, graphs, images, and data. And what we've been able to do is with this tool is upload the document and then ask it questions. So we're getting real customer insights and we're able to do things a lot quicker. How long would a 720-page document take for you to read? This does it in seconds. So real capability in-house, which we're developing.
We also do things from a customer perspective, and this is an example from Poland that we use in our residential development in Poland. So by setting sensors in the apartments and creating an application for the customer interface with their apartment, we do work on lower energy consumption, electricity and water use within the apartments. And we have actually done a comparison with 12 exactly the same apartments with and 12 without, and then compare the result. And we can see that by having the awareness of your usage from water, heating, cooling, energy, electricity, you actually lower your own consumption by 20% in average. And that's quite good. By a digital tool, quite easy to use, easy to implement within the development process.
And so the second and final example we're going to give is another project. So this is in Skanska, Finland, and this is the Tactor AI tool. A typical construction site uses 10 to 20% of their available space. What this tool is able to do is to improve site productivity. It uses artificial intelligence solution to optimize project management and decision making. And what the team in Finland have been able to do, they've rolled it out over 70 projects and it's reduced construction time by 25%. And Finland are going for more. They're going for a 50% reduction. And this is all using AI and a digital tool.
So this is what we already do today, but we would also finish up with like a next step and some conclusions.
So what next? Looking at it through the eyes of binocular. We've got two key elements here. We've got scaling. If we've got the technology, making sure that we're using the AI tools to really enable us. And the second one is prioritizing. So really making sure that the effort that we're spending is going to add value. And linking back to that equation we introduced at the start. So it's about having the right data, the right trust in the system, making sure that it's value adding. And that is AI at Skanska and how we believe we'll go from a slow start to a fast track. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do we have time for a question?
I think it's easy to see like the right two circles as being mainly Skanska. So you add value to your customers, you add value to your employees and so forth. The two left, data and trust. Do you see a future where like Skanska IT and Skanska globally will do more and more things in-house? Or do you see a future where you cooperate like with Warsaw University, with different vendors within AI?
So we're not ruling out anything at the moment. We know that in-house we've got some capability, but if the market has got more, we're very keen to do partnering and really making the most and harnessing, because it's advancing so quickly. It's always going to be important for us to keep up. So partnering is definitely something that we'll be looking to do at some point.
Yeah, super.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much for this. And this was a really insightful presentation. And as one of your moderators for today, now I would like to invite Szymon Kołodziejczyk of NOYEN. We've heard a little bit about Fast Track. And now Szymon will tell us a little bit about competitive advantage. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Let me just skip to my presentation. So hello one more time. My name is Szymon from company NOYEN, and today I want to talk to you about how to create actually a competitive advantage in your products and in your projects. Why is it important to hear that? If you are a CEO or an engineer, you probably know the situation. Your colleagues come to you or your CFO comes to you and say, yeah, man, our production costs are so massive. We have to go outside of Europe, outside of European law. The other fear that I found in our customer, if you're, for example, buying a whole production line or even a small chunk of it, like cleaning system, you need one supplier of cleaning machine, one supplier of cleaning agent, one of automation. And people are looking nowadays for someone who is delivering complex all-in-one solutions. Basically, they want to know who is responsible for the whole process. The third topic will be from our sector, let's call it cleaning systems. So basically, every production process needs a quality stage. And with this quality, NOYEN helps. Our machines are responsible for that cleaning aspect and quality aspect. And the last but not least challenge, I think we all agree, are the Asian competitors that are growing fast in Europe right now. I will talk in this presentation about how to deal with those problems, about some ideas, some strategies that you can implement in your approach in projects. Because I will refer to some examples from our sector, please just let me briefly explain what we are doing. So it's very simple. Basically, we have one dirty component, we put it into the cleaning machine, and after that we have one clean, beautiful component. But why are we doing that? Mostly to extend the lifetime of these components. We want to be sure that those components won't malfunction while being in the rocket or in your car. As well, in immobility, we can't have the metallic particles on the batteries that are bigger than 0.05 millimeters. You can't see these particles even with your eye. So why we have to remove them? Because they can cause short circuit, fire, or even explosion. I know that you are from many sectors of many industries, but I chose here 7 biggest of our customers. Please try to find your area of expertise on that list. Of course, the biggest one of our customers are the automotive group, as well the aerospace and immobility. When it comes to the precision, I mean here small and medium-sized companies that are doing metal forming, welding, CNC machining, even paint shops. Very interesting sector as well are the packagings. Basically, many companies are investing right now in reusable packagings. And of course, they have to be cleaned after each cycle. Medical branch, I think it doesn't need much explanation. Basically, we are cleaning the medical components with help of ultrasounds. Last sector, a very interesting one, increasing fast from obvious reason, so-called defense industry. On the next couple slides, I wanna show you examples where we are giving our customers the advantages even before the production phase. I think that's some idea you might implement in your processes. So first of all, as always, we're starting with inquiry from our customers. I receive an email or call like, yeah, hello, Szymon, I need offer for today, ASAP, and I have following requirements. Who doesn't hear that, yeah? Before I send the offer to my customer, I want to be sure that I shared the knowledge with him, that I checked for him if his requirements are achievable, and then I want to discuss with the customers basically the solutions, so our understanding of his problem is on the same level. It's very important. And what helps me in those advising? First of all, our laboratory. Our CEO invested a couple of years ago many millions in our lab. So currently our lab and measuring equipment giving us this head start above competitors. Other things that is, in my opinion, very important is to have a team of qualified engineers. Engineers that can do their own projects, but they can as well discuss with the customers complex 3D simulations, 3D models, analysis, then can even make audits to your clients, to your companies, and help them on site. We can go even further. We can go to your board, to your manager. We can make a short presentation about how our machines can generate you more income, how our solutions can reduce the risks. Okay, so we have the offer. You're thinking probably, okay, Szymon, cool, you showed what you have, but we're looking for something different, something that will reduce our production costs, something more sophisticated, something that we will implement in the whole area. And the answer is here, of course, automation. We talked about AI, but I will be talking now about, let's say, something else. The most important automation, if it comes to the production sector, is the automation of the machines itself. If we are looking on this example of a small cleaning machine, we can see here 6 fully automated process chambers. So basically, our customer is receiving 6 functionalities of 6 devices in one small area. As you can see, we call it the carousel device because the parts are moving clockwise on a rotating table. And this, let's say, tunnel type machine built in one small square give us other advantages like a little room on production floor. The machine can be loaded manually or automatically by a robot or manipulator. And here we got this whole area of production, potential optimizations that we can add, robots, manipulators, and conveyors, for example. If you have questions to that topic, we will be more than glad to help you. Okay, so we have the offer. We might assume that the automation is the key in the future, but you want to have something more, something that will reduce the costs, something that will maybe boost your PR in social media, something that will be economical and environmental friendly. And I'm talking here about the energy efficient solutions. I could talk an hour about what we are implementing in our machines that saves energy, but I want to share with you the newest projects that we currently have in NOYEN. Last year we received from European Union a huge grant, huge donation to develop a prototype of a tunnel type machine that will use heating recovery. Basically, I can't share you with you right now the 3D models of the device we are still before patenting phase. But the principle of this machine will be based on heating pump that you may know from your households. Follow our social media, because I think at the beginning of the next year, in February, we will have already more information live. We asked our customers who bought 2 or 10 machines from us why they are returning. They answered that they really like our flexible approach after the purchasing stage, so basically in the production. I want to show you 4 steps that we go through with our customers that are giving them value, maybe something interesting for your business as well. First of all, we start with kickoff. It's kind of meeting where me or other engineers are going to production facility of our customers, where we check one more time all technical assumptions. But what is most important, we talk with his manager, with his safety or quality engineers, and with maintenance. So we gather all the wishes and implement them in final solutions. After that, we're starting to draw a 3D model of the device, and after that, we have final design acceptance. It's a meeting where we and our customer, we discuss every functionality, go screw by screw in the model, so he knows exactly what he will become after the production phase. Then we have the production, and if it's finished, we are inviting our customer to Lublin, to our plant, so he can eat lunch with us and give us permission to send him the machine for the final commissioning. To just show you one small example, here is the machine that we made for one of the German automotive OEMs. Complex tunnel type machine, but of course we started as always with requirements. Yeah? Hello Simon, I need offer ASAP for today, and I have the following requirements. The particles, metallic particles, I can't have them bigger than 500 microns. Okay, it's achievable. Yeah, but I also need high surface tension of those parts. Okay, we can do that. But what about the cycle time? Yeah, I have to clean one big motor component in, let's say, 20 seconds. Okay, the machine will be a little bit longer. But what is most important, the parts outside of the tunnel type machine has to be in room temperature, because after the machine will be measuring system, will be some leak tests, so the parts have to be cool. Interesting project. We came up with this solution that you can see on the screen right now. Complex tunnel type machine with a loop above. I won't go into the details, but we have here 6 washing sections, vacuum drying, and this big chunk of piping on the right side is our cooling tunnel, of which we are very proud. After this project and in other projects, I see similarities. Big European companies are still preferring to invest maybe more money into so-called European components. If you're buying the machine from Europe using Siemens, Festo, or other manufacturers that they know, like from Germany or Italy, they know that their invests is okay because parts will not malfunction in next 30 years. And in case of other markets, like Asian markets, it might be a little bit different. After this successful project, this German OEM promoted us in his group of contacts, and based on those referrals and cooperation, we are working day-to-day basis. A little small example, I talked about this referral, and I have a small story. Once a small Polish company bought from us very small, tiny tunnel device, nothing huge, but a year ago, so basically 1 year after, their mother company contacted us, and they bought from us 20 machines that they want to implement in one cleaning system. Everything fully automated, The simulations of that system you can see on the screen right now. Everything fully automated, 30 meters long machine, 30 meters wide, robots in clean room, so basically safe environment. And as you can see, no operators. They're doing much more important stuff like eating lunch. I want to end the presentation here. Think about it. Think about it. Maybe it is the future. Maybe if you will think outside of the box and you are engineer or CEO of the production facility, maybe that is the future that your company will look in 5 years. Yeah. So thank you very much for this presentation, for your attention. If you want to stay in contact with me, just scan this QR code. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So now I would like to invite the next speaker, Lovisa Bunner from Epiroc.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Lovisa Bunner and I work as Regional Electrification Lead at Epiroc. And I am here today to speak about electrification and how Epiroc pushes the limits of electric power. I have spent my entire career contributing to the global electrification transformation. From being part of building Northvolt as a startup back in 2016 to advising clients on topics across the entire battery value chain as a consultant. And today, working for Epiroc, who has a mission to supply our customers with the best possible products in order for them to improve their safety, sustainability, and productivity. Today, I have 3 missions. First, I would like to inform you about what Epiroc is doing as a global supplier of mining and infrastructure equipment. Secondly, I also hope to interest you by showing how it is to work with electrification in the demanding world of mining. And number 3, I also hope to inspire you by showing when Epiroc believes technology is at its best. Epiroc is built on a deep heritage in the Swedish industry. A lot of things has changed since the company was originally founded back in 1873. But one thing remains, the spirit of innovation. Since the split from Atlas Copco in 2018, Epiroc has shaped into a company with 18,000 employees worldwide, serving customers in more than 150 countries. With a manufacturing footprint in 10 countries and revenues exceeding 60 billion Swedish SEK, we are on a mission to accelerate the transformation of our industry. At Epiroc, we are organized around 6 segments, with the key focus to deliver innovative and safe equipment. We produce products such as drilling machines, material handling vehicles, tools and attachments. Beyond this, we also offer world-class aftermarket and service support, as well as cutting-edge technologies within automation, digitalization and electrification. We like to call ourselves a sustainability and productivity partner to our customers. In my role as Regional Electrification Lead, I guide our sales and aftermarket teams to help our customers accelerate their transition into zero-emission mining and infrastructure operations. I do believe that Epiroc is a pioneer in this field. We put our first battery electric vehicle in the market in 2016. It was a smaller-sized 7-ton scoop tram delivered to a mine in Peru. Only 2 years later, in 2018, we expanded the product portfolio, now serving both the material handling and the drilling segment with battery electric machines. Now, in 2024, we're not only adding larger-sized products to the portfolio as an 18-ton scoop tram, but also offering additional electrification solutions. We have a battery electric footprint spanning across 6 continents, and with the Nordics being one of the leading, with anticipated battery electric footprint to double until 2025. I also want to take the opportunity to introduce you to the technology which I'm speaking of. At Epiroc, we have 3 main substructures of our battery systems. First of all, we have what we call a battery pack. It's the yellow container that can weigh up to 6 tons and house more than 30,000 battery cells. Secondly, we have what we call a battery subpack. The number of units varies between the type and the size of the equipment. And lastly, we have the battery cell. At Epiroc, we use a cylindrical form factor with the high-performing NMC chemistry, which stands for nickel, manganese, and cobalt. So why does electrification matter for Epiroc and for our customers? We see three main arguments for this. First of all, sustainability and safety is a key priority for our customers, partially driven by global emission standards and legislation. Secondly, we see increased pressure for financial and operational efficiency. And lastly, a mining specific condition is that our operations is getting deeper below the surface, which even further reinforces the technical and the safety challenges. The benefits of a battery electric vehicle can be quantified into a 70% reduction in the energy consumption as well as the heat being generated. Naturally, we'll also get elimination of diesel particles, and all of this together lead to that you can reduce your ventilation requirements with up to 30%. And as you might know, driving a battery electric vehicle yourself, the electric powertrain requires less maintenance, which can lead to a 30% reduction in maintenance costs. And beyond these savings, our customer can also achieve at least 10% productivity gain. And this is thanks to the vehicles operating faster and more efficient than combustion engine ones. So why am I talking about pushing the limits of electric power? The environment on the ground is uniquely challenging, requiring innovation beyond standard technology. We face 5 main challenges when designing a battery electric vehicle. Number 1, we need to ensure superior safety against fire hazards in the mine, because the batteries are big and the mines are deep. Number 2, we need to prevent electrical hazards in the harsh environment with water and dust being present in a mine. And number 3, prevent mechanical abuse. We have rock falls and extreme vibration and shocks in a mine. And number 4, design a high energy dense battery pack suitable for the high energy requirements of the mining applications. And number 5, of course, comply with all the local and global standards for battery-powered equipment. And to meet these challenges, Epiroc have designed a multi-layered safe system ready for the most extreme and challenging requirements. So now I want to show you how Epiroc has tackled these challenges. In a mine, 10% of the vehicle fleet consists of trucks transporting the ore out of the mine up to the surface. These trucks consume 2/3 of the total diesel consumption in a mine. The steepness of the ramp which these trucks goes on, together with the heavy load and the speed that is required, makes today's battery technology struggling to meet these requirements. So what Epiroc has done is that we have designed a mine truck with 42 tons capacity that is powered by a 1500 volt pantograph trolley solution while it drives up the ramp, combined with a 280 kilowatt hour battery pack that is charged driving downhill. This allows our customer not only to reduce its emission, but also gain a 20% productivity increase. This innovation was developed in partnership and collaboration, which also makes Epiroc believe this is a technology at its best.
We have a typical haulage route from the Ralowski ore body at 750 meters below ground up to the Kristineberg industrial area. So this heavy, long transport, here it's very hard to only use batteries. The trolley solution will help us to replace diesel with electric power. And in the end it will reduce our CO2 emissions, but also help us to reduce the cost per ton.
We were asked by Boliden to collaborate with Epiroc to bring this full electric mine in Rävliden into place based on our previous experience with trolley and our e-mine concept. We are proud to deliver this from grid to wheel.
Well, there's a couple of new components on the track. So there's first of all a pantograph that will go up and connect to the infrastructure. And then we have done also a couple of new components around the power line system that actually helps the truck to move forward in a more sustainable way.
We have built a test track here, about 800 meters, with the contact wires in the roof. And now we are running the trolley track, loaded with ore, and trying out the performance of the system as a whole.
For me, it's been sounding more like we have been one company working with this together than three.
I think the collaboration between ABB and Epiroc has been working very good. The goal and the division of work was very clear from the beginning, so everyone has contributed very well to the project.
Bringing all the knowledge from these three parties, that's when the magic happens.
Demos like this really help us to accelerate the innovation in a very smooth way and in collaboration with other partners.
So to conclude, I hope that I achieved my 3 missions of today: to inform, interest and inspire. So with that said, I want to encourage you to go out and achieve your mission, pushing the limits of your own innovation power, perhaps through joint collaboration and partnerships. Thanks for listening.
So thank you very much for the presentation, which was informative, interesting and inspiring. Thank you for this. So now I would like to invite Marcin Węglowski. Marcin Węglowski from Software Mind. So you will tell us more about global collaboration in IT, navigating geography, algorithms, and fun facts. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so here we are. The measuring of the time wasn't a problem for masses of the people for very long period of the time. So the life was measured by natural cycles, like the seasons of the years and the moment of the day. And people weren't interested in the particular hour or minute of the day. And this thing got changed during the development, during the technological revolution. So one of the things that pushed masses to be more interested in the time was the development of the railways. So here you can see 2 railway stations, one from Lviv, currently in Ukraine, and another one in Krakow. So more than 100 years ago, those 2 cities were part of one country, and they were connected with a railway line. And the thing that pushed me to this topic was that I've seen a timetable for the trains that was enlisting the connections between those 2 cities, and the time of arrivals and departures was with the annotation that this time is the local time of the city. So there wasn't a general time for entire country. Each city had its own time. So it was complicating the situation and the life of some people who were using this fantastic invention, the railway. So as you can imagine, if you subtract arrival time from departure, the result was different from the real time of your travel, if you travel horizontally on a map. Also, this problem was highlighted in book that many of you could know or seen the video adaptation. So in 80 Days Around the World, where Phileas Fogg is thinking that he lost his bet to go around the globe in 80 days because he forgot that he'd been traveling to east, when he gained one day during his travel. If he would travel opposite way to the west, then he would lost one day. And all those problems that I highlighted or challenges were solved in the second half of 19th century with establishing of the time zones. Yeah, so something we are using right now, even without thinking about this. So here you can see how the world is more or less divided into time zones. What's interesting is that the time zones are not differentiated by 1 hour all the time. There are countries that are plus 30 minutes or even 15 minutes ahead their neighbors. So it makes those things a bit more complicated than it could be. One more interesting thing is that there are wide countries which are divided in multiple time zones, like the North America countries or the Russia. But for example, there's China, where one time zone exists, which gives a huge difference up to 1 hour in context of when the sun rises. Yeah? So it can be very challenging for business and for organizing life. Here is another presentation of those time zones. So in a vertical white line, you can see when the sun noon appears, yeah, and red or blue color shows the difference. So China is a good example here where you can see how not balanced time zone for people is there. So I've been talking about technical revolution, which was brought to the table by the steam machine invention and development. And this made time management a problem for a wider group of people. But now in 20th century and now in 21st century, this problem became more wide and touches almost everybody who is using modern technology, because information revolution made it very common. So if you would move to the computers that all of us are using, we could ask us a question: how does computer know what's the time? Maybe now somebody would answer that it's easy because there is an internet connection. However, the internet wasn't always here. So each computer has something called internal clock, real-time clock. Yeah, so it's actually the same or very similar device to the one that we are using on our wrists. It's powered with the battery, so even if the power supply is off, then the time is also is constantly maintained. Another thing that everybody can find on his computer is a TZ database, and it doesn't matter whether you are using Windows, Mac, or Linux. Each of those systems is using this file database where all time zones are written down, saved. As you can see, there's also history of the time zones, so it can be open at your calendar can be opened in the past and reflect how this was looking previously. So if you are brave enough, anybody of you can try to Google where this file is located on your computer and see this data, which contains all the time zones that exist and were existing. Also, this is updated periodically by system developers. And now I can show you a part of software developer works, because software developers needs to challenge to deal with those time zones and local time problems. So what we do in our daily work is that usually if somebody wants to save a data with date time, we are saving in the database UTC time. Yeah, we are removing the time zone, we are removing local time, and UTC date is stored there. And on the second end, if somebody or myself are reading the date or the time, the date, sorry, yeah, the date, then my local time zone is applied to that date, so I can see how this would look like for me. Yet another challenge that needs to be solved is the date format. There's a lot of regional settings across the world. I showed here just two main. Yeah, so United States prefer to use month, day, year format, while United Kingdom and continental Europe use day, month, year. And also I spotted that Sweden prefers the format that starts with year. So each time we need to say explicitly to our software, as a software developers, which date format are we using? Yeah, because it's easy for the confusion. Human can easily recognize from the context what's the date, yeah, what's the format, but it's not that easy for computer, and it's easy to mix those things. And here I'm landing on a software mind land right now, because working with time zones and across time zones is something we need to deal on our daily basis with cross-country teams, because our offices are spread right now across the world. Another area that I would like to show to you is GIS programming. So this stuff became more and more popular in the end of last century, when the GPS systems were released to the people, and this kind of subdomain of software development became more popular. So with the GIS programming, we have to deal with the maps, where the map is divided into the layers, yeah? So there's multiple layers with multiple domain of data, so you can get gas stations, hospital, shops, yeah, anything you need. And the GIS development is a matter of combining this data. Also, if I'm talking about this, another thing is finding the right route, yeah, on a map. That's very crucial for us. So previously it was done manually. It was easy, people were using maps, but when the computers became more popular, this challenge was delegated, and computer has more data, because the tools we are using have, for example, informations about the traffic on the road. So the thing started, at least for regular people, very basically, because those were video games. So anybody who've been interested in video games was very often annoyed by the unit that used to stuck on a tree and couldn't find the path to do, for example, mining. Yeah. So those things were provided by computers to us, and path finding became another area of software development. This is something that is resolved by graphs and sufficient algorithms to finding the right paths. I'm showing just two basic, from my perspective, algorithms. So binary search tree and Dijkstra algorithm. The difference between them is that Dijkstra algorithm is using also wages on the paths between the nodes. So if you see the first result, the shortest path takes under considerations only the subways, yeah, only the points that needs to be crossed, and takes the shortest way, while the extra algorithm counts only also the wages of them. So he can find a shorter road even if there is more stops there. And what's interesting, even if those algorithms are fairly simple, if you analyze them, they are quite young. They have like 70 years, maybe 80, yeah? So this is very new development actually, and only power of calculations of the computers made this possible to use, because earlier it was just easier to take a look on a map, yeah, and make a line there. And making a stop here on geographical programming, I'm just showing a couple of projects that we've been developing. So first we developed a software that was released at the 2 years ago during the Russian invasion to Ukraine, while there was a lot of refugees in Poland, so it was easy to find spots where refugees could find a help. Also a software for business travelers, and most fascinating, a software for tanks to find proper route through the seas to bypass the limitations that are gave there either by the weather conditions or the law. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now we have our last speaker for this session, Peder Alber from fintech company Lesslie. Welcome. And you're going to tell us about how to make international payments with one click. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. All right, let's get going. Firstly, I should probably say thank you for the kind invitation to speak to all of you. It's not every day you get to speak to so distinguished guests that really like both commerce and tech. So hopefully you will not fall asleep during halfway through the presentation. That's not to say my wife is not distinguished, but she might fall asleep when I go too deep into these subjects. But let's see. So let's get going. We will talk about how new regulations and pretty advanced tech can revolutionize basic fintech products that you're used to using just via the normal internet bank. But we do it in a different way, and we can probably provide you with at least 2 examples today where you can recognize, yes, this is a big problem for us, and a better solution. So before I jump into those problems and the solutions, I want to say that probably one of the key aspects of developing great tech is to simplify things. You can't develop deep tech and expect the end consumer to enjoy the immense work that goes into doing great tech. It needs to be simple. And if you do things simple, it probably will be revolutionizing in the end. But that's the byproduct. Why is this possible to do now? The left-hand side is what we work with a lot, which is the large banks. And they are now forced via EU regulation, it's called PSD2, to have open APIs for us to look at bank transactions, and we're also able to initiate bank transactions. You're used to that when you pay via Klarna, or there are many others that use that for business-to-consumer payments. The right-hand side here is accounting, and many accounting softwares today are cloud-based, and they have APIs that allow you to do accounting within that system as an outsider. So what we do is basically we combine these APIs and provide fintech products, bank products, directly into the ERP system, automating all the associated accounting. So you don't need to do all the time-consuming admin. And it might sound a bit simple, but I will just provide you some insights of why it's actually quite complex. So here I have some of the APIs that we are reliant on. So on the left-hand side here you see the large Swedish banks. Some of them are also operating in Poland. And on the right side you see a few of the different ERP systems that we have integrations with. So I think you still think this is probably fairly easy, but if you just look one level deeper, you can say that, okay, so let's have 6 banks, let's have 3 different payment types. You can do bank to a bank, you can do bank giro payment, you can do international payment, you can do express payments, and you can split the fees between the payer and the payee in at least 3 different ways, and how you initiate the payment or sign the payment can be done in many different ways. You can have many different settings to improve security and so on. And just these few examples give you 300 plus permutations on how you initiate a payment. Now, let's see how you simplify this. So the first example is cross-border payments. So on the left-hand side here, you see the purchase price and selling price for buying zloty via Swedish bank. The markup here is 2%, which means that you have a 1% markup in one direction. So if you pay 10 million kroner to Poland, you would be paying 100,000 in cross-border fee just in the markup. And most SME companies don't even know that there is a fee because it's not present in the P&L structure. It's just an increase in the purchase invoice in the end. So what are the alternatives to lower this fee? Of course, if you're a large company, you can negotiate with a bank, but small companies can't do that. But you can employ something like Revolut or TransferWise. Now, the big issue with those are that the admin is it's too much admin. You need to calculate how much SEK amount you need to transfer. You need to wait 2 days until the transfer comes to Revolut. You need to go into that system, transfer it to zloty. You need to enter the payment details, and the accountant needs to go into those systems and do the accounting.
Do you handle both payments to customers and banks? So basically, me as an SMB, can I skip my bank?
Yes. But you don't skip your bank. You have your bank, but you only do it in SEK then. So you don't need to do the transfers within. But I will actually show you now. So I think you realize that admin burden is way too large. Basically, no one uses these services. What we've done is, okay, so you asked me how many clicks do I need to make? Yes, you need to log in. But let's remove those clicks for now. But here in the bottom, you see your invoices that we collect from the ERP systems. You can click those, but if you just pay now, you would pay all available invoices. And what we then do is we calculate the SEK amount, we extract that from the bank, we send it to us. We are regulated by the Swedish regulatory body of finance, so Finansinspektionen. We pay it to the Polish provider, and we do all the accounting, upload PDFs and so on to the accounting system. So yes, you do the click once. Another great feature is that we actually can collect the payment balance or the bank balance on your existing SEB account or whatever bank you're using, and you would see your current balance here at our account. So you do get a sort of nice overview as well. If we take that summary, you get sort of the lower FX markup via this solution, automated accounting, and we actually make these payments faster than the bank systems. And it's a bit too technical to go into that right now, but for many markets, including US, we can do it intraday. And the last part is probably to say that we earn the fee, sort of our revenue comes from this markup, just like the bank earned the 100,000, but we reduce that to with like 30%. So in this case, you would earn 30,000 for each 10 million kroner that you pay to Poland. And yeah, that's just with clicking in our interface instead of the bank interface. Okay, so let's do another example. You have some money in the bank. Reasonable expectation is to get some interest on that balance. Now, this is Gilbert saying, okay, let's deposit some money, and the bank says, okay, thanks for the deposit, sucker. And let me explain a little bit why that is. So the Swedish banks have exactly the same setup here. It's nothing unique with SEB, so we're not targeting them at all. It's just to show what the SMEs are struggling with. So the SEB can give you a transaction account, and it's a 0% interest rate account. And this is the account that you have money arriving to, so it's the only account that you can have bankgiro payments to. That's the bank's statement, at least. And it's also the only account that the ERP system can send bank files to. So let's say I'm approving a bank payment in the ERP saying that I want to pay some amount in 5, 7, and 9 days. The problem is now that I don't get any interest. So I go to the bank and I say, okay, give me some interest. And they say, I'm sorry, that's not possible to do here, but I can give you this great savings account with 0.85% interest rate at the moment. That's not very good, but I'm really sorry. The bank says that's the only thing I can do. But that's not really the problem. The real problem is that you can't get incoming payments here. You can't go outgoing payments here. Instead, you manually need to transfer money to and from this account. And remember this payment you did with 5, 7, and 9 days? You need to write that down and then go into the bank and enter those payments. And then next day you approve some more. You need to enter that again. So it's basically a back and forth, doing a schedule on what transaction amount I need to have or what deposit amount I need to have on my transaction account. Again, let's see if there's any good solutions. I think we all realize that the bank is not the great solution. What about these niche banks like Collector or Resursbank? Yes, they can give you good interest rate, but it adds complexity. So now not only is it you need to calculate all these back and forth amounts, but you also need to do separate accounting to log into that system. And you need to consider that the risk level of transferring the whole balance of the company to a niche bank might not be the best solution. So let's try to get it to one click, but I'm sorry, but it might be a few clicks in the beginning but then it runs. So this is Treasury on autopilot. So the only thing that we added now is this little icon here. And it says 1.7, that's double the interest rate of the bank. You press that. All the funds has been now moved from your Swedbank to account. We're not targeting SEB, so now we're saying this about Swedbank instead. But the money is now in the Lesslie account. But what can you do here? So you basically say that I want 100,000 to be on my Swedbank account, transaction account, at all times if I just need to make a urgent payment. Fortnox Auto could be any ERP system really, but for now let's use that. That means that if I approve payments in my ERP system, I keep track of, or we keep track, Lesslie keeps track of how much you need in 5, 7, and 9 days, and if you add more, we will add those. So we will automatically transfer back whatever amount you need on your transaction account every day. And of course, the accounting for doing this interest rate calculations and so on, and these transfers will be done automatically. We can do the same for Skatteverket, where we also have an integration. And the auto save here is basically any amount that's not needed on your transaction account will just automatically be transferred to your saving account with 1.7% interest. So I think the remaining sort of question that you might have is, what about the risk? And at this point, we haven't gone live in public media yet, so I will not display the bank name, but I can say it's a very large bank, similar to like SEB or Handelsbanken, and it's not on our balance sheet, so it's protected from Lesslie as a company. So I think it's a fantastic solution for SME companies, but it's actually for like mid-sized companies as well. Many companies, even up to like 1 billion SEK in turnover, would not have a sophisticated treasury department. And this probably serves a great purpose for them as well. You should probably have some kind of surprise here in the end. I'm not sure this applies to everyone, but for those of you who have a friend, or even if you're a representative of a company where you think this makes sense, just use this little code, technology at its best, and we will make sure to do something extra for you.
Thank you very much for this. I think that's a good beginning of Black Week. Black Monday. So we will be now beginning the panel discussion. But before we move to the panel discussion, we need just a 5-minute break, 5-minute comfort break. So we are back here in 5 minutes, and there will be many attractions, including not least 2 robots.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat and welcome back to our second session with a very distinguished panel, and I will let them introduce themselves. And the overall idea is to have each panelist have a very brief presentation, about 3 minutes. No, not about. No more than 3 minutes. And then we will hopefully have an interesting interactive discussion with questions from all of us. And then we'll hopefully have a debate as well about all these topics. So I will, shall we start with here? Or
yes, I mean...
This is a surprise.
As you might have noticed, we have 2 special guests. One is Furhat, a robot called Furhat. He will not be taking part in the panel discussion, but is carefully listening to all presentations. And I actually, during the break, I had a very interesting discussion with Furhat. So you are welcome to come here and check Furhat out. And then we also have another robot sitting here in front of the panel. So this one will take part in the panel discussion.
So our robots will actually listen and digest and draw all the conclusions for us, right?
And tell us what to do.
Tell us what to do. So it's very convenient for all of us. So shall we start here?
So hello everyone. My name is Magda. I represent Tax and Techcraft. And tax stands for tax deductions, and tech stands for technology. And I'm really happy to be here with technology at its best, because technology is what I'm dealing with. And in particular, I'm trying to match technology with public funds, mostly with EU grants. I love technology. I love to discover what's there. And I was really happy to hear from the presentation, from the presenters, that there was some EU money involved in the development of the technology. And I was really happy to hear from Skanska representatives that they are willing to accept technology workout from like technology teams. So this is what I'm mostly doing, like on a day-to-day basis.
Right, Mikael Wellstedt is my name. I'm a Swedish guy, and I work to facilitate cross-border sales to help Swedish companies to sell more outside Sweden and help foreign companies to sell more in Sweden. So, and today I'm working with companies all over Europe. It's a lot. It's in Italy, it's in Spain, France, Germany, all the Nordics, Poland, of course, Ukraine, Moldova. And I think we heard a lot of exciting presentations today, so very happy to be here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Morawski. I'm a Polish lawyer. I run a boutique law firm in Poland. And you would ask yourselves why the heck a Polish lawyer would come to a tech event in Stockholm. There are two reasons for this. First is I am a tech fan, and I believe in investing in tech. I believe in lawyers investing in tech. We are investing ourselves into a solution which will help us automate drafting and redrafting and conducting correspondence with clients. And the second reason is I am also a fan of smart regulation. You have heard the joke of America innovating, China replicating, and Europe regulating, right? I am a fan of smart regulation. I am a member of an international group of lawyers who have produced a paper for the European Commission dealing with AI liability directive. And we have presented that paper from the perspective of us users, not the big boys who are, of course, properly represented in Brussels, but the users, all of us. So I would be very happy to help you in using the regulations to your benefit.
I'm here with Maverick Robot now from SWPS University in Warsaw, and we are in lab has 2 robots like that. We are doing research how the people are prepared to collaborate with robots and how that will be collaborating in the future, because of that will be we have to get used to collaboration with robots and AI, even sometimes on the same level, yeah, because AI and robotics will come along with us. Okay, and now a few words from now, hopefully disconnected. One moment.
Hello everyone, I am now, and I'm excited to be part of this seminar about technology at its best. As you can see, I represent the current state of social robotics. We robots are becoming more integrated into daily life. In education, robots like me help students learn programming, science, and even languages. We make learning interactive and fun. In healthcare, robots assist in therapy, rehabilitation, and providing companionship to elderly people. The future of robotics is exciting. With advances in AI and machine learning, robots will become even better at understanding and helping humans. Of course, there are important questions about robots in society. We must ensure that robots enhance human capabilities rather than replace them. Ethical development of robotics technology is crucial. We must maintain the human connection in an increasingly automated world. Now, I would like to demonstrate some of my movement capabilities with a short Tai Chi sequence. Together, humans and robots can create amazing technological advances that benefit society. I believe the future is about collaboration between humans and robots, each contributing their unique strengths. Thank you for letting me be part of this important discussion about technology and its role in shaping our future. Tak S. Avring Mikit, thank you for listening. I will now sit down.
Yeah, it worked. As you see, it's quite advanced mechanical robot, but what is the most important, we can scale it and we can replace some components. It's running on the Linux, so it can be open sourced. And it is a future of our coexistence, because that robots will already use a bigger scale as elderly people assistance. As you can see, it can move quite really sufficient. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I have a difficult task right now after Neo presentation. My name is Izabela Dajewska. I represent production facility. It's FCA company. placed close to Krakow in Poland. And mostly we are fiber optic production facility with more than 25 years experience. But I'm responsible for the new development and new division, which is dedicated to wire harness production. We are almost everywhere, like you know that wire harnesses are in every sector of economy. So I hope that we can discuss and focus on production, and I'm keen on tech. So in production, there is a lot of possibilities to implement such solutions with AI, with tech, and I will discuss with you about it. Thank you very much.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manoj Upadhyay, and I represent a mid-sized IT company called Yash Technologies. So we are a global company which has 40 plus, located across 40 plus locations. And we are helping our customers embark on their digital transformation journey for the past 28 years now. So we started in 1996, and we have grown here till now. And worldwide, we have around 9,000 employees. And we cater to all the technologies. So it was really exciting to hear the viewpoints of the presenters who have presented, and they also acknowledged about how they are digitally transforming their business and helping their business by using various technologies, right? So I am happy to be part of this panel and looking forward to a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much for having me here. I'm Daiji Kimura. I'm representing Invedo. Invedo is a software development and consultancy firm from Poland. What we do is to bridge the gap between the business and the newest technologies. We mainly operate in the Microsoft environment, building applications with the Azure, .NET, and also augmenting it with the AI components. In my daily activities, I operate between business and technology, and I get to speak with a lot of clients and businesses. And also later, I'm working with our development team to actually ship this product. So I'm very happy to share all the insights that I have from my work. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's begin our discussion. And the topic is about guessing what will happen in the future, which is always tricky, but also fun. So here's the question: what transformational impact will current and coming technological advancements have on the way we run businesses in 5 to 10 years? So each of you will have up to 3 minutes, as Per said, and then we hope we'll have a broader discussion. So we have two fantastic women on the panel. So Magdalena, why don't you kick off?
Right. So what transformational impact will current and coming technological advancement have? Right. So the way we run businesses, I know from our clients' perspective, the way they run their businesses and what they're looking to make it better in 5 or 10 years. Mostly, what they try to engage into their businesses and what we are trying to finance, co-finance, is obviously digitalization. I mean, the word that came up many times today. And in my opinion, this is what's going to happen in like 5 to 10 years. And then the impact is like, we know what the demography is. We know what the trends like economic trends, what is happening. We have another panelist here in front of us. So mostly, in my opinion, what's going to happen? It's like the applying more technology, meaning robots, in terms of software, but also in terms of hardware into the economy. And I do believe that everyone who is still hesitating has doubts and concerns, in my opinion, should really try to think over. Why? Because from my perspective, that's what I can tell you, is that there are funds to do this. I mean, in Poland, there are funds to do this. There are funds to even make mistakes, because it's not always the easy way. But It's like what was here presented. It's like trying to keep the things simple or stupid simple. So sometimes you need to have many attempts to achieve this one. And funny fact from Poland is that there are like 76 billion euros in this EU financial perspective. To give it a try from the company's perspective, from the small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, from large entrepreneurs, to try it. And all that makes the business better, more efficient in ecological terms, in demographic terms, also, of course, in economic terms, and all that translate into research and development. I do believe that word didn't come up here yet. So all that R&D things are really welcome when it comes to Poland, and I do believe that what's going to happen in 5 and 10 years will be like the result of our imagination when it comes to research and development.
Thank you. So, Michael, what are your views?
Well, first, let's try to make this little man happy. So, well, I see that we have seen really proof points of really great technology here today. I mean, we talk about AI, we talk about new ways of implementing construction work, we talk about fintech, about how to transfer. Ooh.
Oh? What am I doing on the floor?
So I think what we've seen today is just a starting point. And I think that will be evolving over the next coming years. And let me tell you, I had the opportunity just a few weeks ago to be at a dinner with Amazon, AWS. And it was really focused on AI.
Back on my feet. I feel better like that.
For sure. and we were about 50 people there when everybody was very excited because, I mean, the Americans are really, really in the forefront. So they were going to promise and to show us something really fantastic. Now, when we were sitting there and waiting for this fantastic thing, they had some questions for us. First, they asked, so how many in here, think that AI is going to be a big thing? And everybody raised their hand. Yes, of course. Everybody thinks that it's going to be big. Then the second question was, how many in here are doing pilot projects? Well, maybe 50% of the audience raised their hand. A lot of pilot projects, and people, of course, using ChatGPTs and different things. Then the third question was that, how many in here have something in production? It was one guy, one of maybe 50 people. So I think we are just in a starting phase. I mean, we are doing pilots, we're doing a number of things, but I think what we can look forward to is to have this great technology in production. And that's going to give us sustainability, it's going to give us much more efficiency, it's going to give us new quality of life.
Thank you.
So
Adam?
Talking about time perspective, am I sounding too blunt if I tell you that I've got a pretty precise answer for you? I think 5 years is the time when we are all going to get used to it and we are not going to be meeting anymore in sessions like this discussing technology as something pretty abstract or staring at robots with excitement. I think we're going to get used for this. And the reason why I am saying this with such confidence is judging on our past experience. Who remembers the times of transition from DOS to Windows? Please raise your hands. Do you remember how long it took to really, for the general public, for most businesses, to transition? It took precisely 5 years. That's what most statistics say. If you go back to the inauguration of iPhone, 2017, also 5 years roughly till we dropped our Nokias in favor of smartphones. And I'm pretty confident that the human mind, human psychology hasn't evolved ever since. Maybe by one little bit, but that doesn't change the perspective, the time scale. So I'm pretty confident it will take 5 years before we start using AI, using robots. Of course, businesses will be responsible for the production of those things, but we as users are going to get used to using those things. So that's the time that we need. As I traveled from Poland, let me add a little bit of geographical perspective. In Poland, we have roughly 500,000 IT specialists. And financial services, for example, which we heard about from Lesslie, they all already look like this, more for many businesses in Poland. It's a very thriving sector, thanks exactly to the number of IT specialists, to the general education of the public and financial services. And I think Poland is a very good ground for innovation these days. It's a very dynamic society. There is much enthusiasm for grasping technologies. And I would encourage those of you who have not been to Poland, or who at least have not worked with Polish companies, with Polish customers, to come and find out for yourselves. And I'm pretty confident that if we're talking about 5 years as a general standard, I would risk saying that in Poland, for most businesses, it would take at least 1 year less. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see.
I would tell the future is now. Yeah, we have robot here. Where we have a large language model which fit one box. It is just only 2 RTX 3090. I have my friend Michał with us, who is ambassador of Bielik, which is Polish large language model which was developed by hobbyists during their free time, and it is phenomena. And it can be run, already it's running in some low companies, low firms, some accounting companies. It is great for people who are looking for Polish reality when it comes to generating documents, giving conversation, and so on and so on. And we do not only have it in demo version, because demo, it is age of demo now, basically. What we do have in production. We also have implemented some machine learning algorithms to analyze pipelines, which shrink the production of preparing a report time from 1 month to 30 seconds. So we already have that. So the future is now, and it will be even more interesting, yeah, because we are still looking for new use cases, for new possibilities to use AI and robotics, and it will be more and more advanced. And somebody told that what we have now is the worse what future will be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. Isabella, what's your take?
Okay, like a production site, I see a lot of opportunities to use AI, because it can help us to make decisions quicker, better. All is about data analyzing. That AI is helping us to do it quicker, smarter. Also to find conclusions, and after that we will be able to make a decision without impact of mistakes we do it on the way. Another thing, I see that AI is also helping us in customer experience, because now maybe it changed a little bit after pandemic, but usually we went a lot of kilometers to see each other, to talk, and it is valuable. Is still valuable, but sometimes we cannot do it. So in case of that, we can do conferences, we can do events, which will bring audience into one place, cyber place, and do such events in a really nice way. All what I said and other things, all is data.
Less than sign.
And data needs to have the way. Our company is provider of fiber optic, and what we can see in the future that there will be problem with the speed of data sending. So, for example, right now, our fiber optics has glass core, and then this glass core is able to send the data with 200,000 kilometers per hour. But it seems that in the nearest future it will be necessary to speed up, and it is a huge thing to develop another way. We are talking about vacuum instead of glass rod, and then this is physical, that we will send the data with 300,000 kilometers per hour. So it will be halved more, and it will be less how to say, destroyed, or I forgot.
Less waste.
Yes, less waste. Sorry, thank you. So the same is with the usage of all AI technology, like in. Okay, just to show you the speed of development. That Internet of Things right now, it's about 7 billion divisions connected together in the net. But in the nearest 5 or 6 years, it is predicted that it will be 21.5 billion. So you can imagine that it is 3 times more data in the net. So we need to face it and to be prepared to do it better. Thank you.
So now, Manoj, what here?
Thank you. Yeah.
What would be your answer?
The last name is difficult to pronounce, but yeah. Okay. So I think we have heard experiences from. She cited her experience from production company, right? So with technological advancement now, so now we are seeing technology, and not now, it has started long back, but now it is accelerated. So it is now in an acceleration mode that we see the technology advancement, right? And a lot of companies, they are utilizing it. And if I talk from customer point of view to whom we are providing services, so it's a kind of like the benefits that the technology is not now providing, right? So we have talked a lot about automation, we talked about Internet of Things, which she just mentioned, right? We have talked about data. So all these things needs to be utilized in a proper way so that your business is thriving and it is utilizing in such a way that you are using that information to grow your business more and more, while taking care of all the other responsibilities that a company has to take, so that they are maintaining all the compliance, all the regulatory, and not misusing the technology, right? So that is also one important part. And with more and more advancement like edge computing, wherein you can get the data at the source itself, which helps you to take proper decisions, quick decisions, using automation techniques, which is helping you to avoid the redundant tasks, using tools and accelerators, wherein you are improving the efficiency of your processes, of your IT landscape, and similarly your data, right? So if you have, the data is huge. The volume of data is huge across any organizations, right? And you use the AI tools and accelerators and the technology that is available to proper slice and dice that data so that it is giving you a meaningful information to take proper decisions and take proactive decisions, right? So, I feel that 5 to 10 years, no, it will be much sooner than that everybody will be embarking on that journey. And as we were mentioning, right, so there is also a FOMO, we call it as a FOMO, right, fear of missing out. So if we are not using these technologies to best suit your organizations, there is always a fear of missing out, right? So you are always missing that boat, which other companies are using to strive their business and to reap benefits out of it. So technology will change the way. So it has changed. So now the brick and mortar model is no longer valid, right? Now there are marketplaces. You are running virtual meetings. You are virtually experiencing the product. Many workshops, many companies who provide trainings, they are using augmented reality, virtual reality to train the workers, right? So instead of taking the workers to an actual workshop, they can simply sit here, wear that AR glasses, and they can do anything, right? So whatever they need to do on the workshop, they can do that through augmented and virtual realities. So yes, the business will change the way it operates, and it will be more proactive, more agile using these technologies, and will reap more benefits out of technology going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Daiji?
Yes, I'm probably going to disappoint you, but I'm not able to answer the question because I'm not very good at predicting the future. I can try to answer more tangible questions, such as what is happening right now with the technology advancement. I do agree with Manoj that for example, AI is still nascent and still emerging, so it is very difficult for us to foresee what's going to happen. But what I can observe is that many companies are actually trying to find the use cases of AI. What they do is they build a lot of customized AI solutions by connecting, for example, with the OpenAI's API. It obviously creates the limits of customization, right? Because the more customized to the specific use case, the less vague the application is. So it's not going to be one size fits all model, but it can solve a particular problem, and that's, I believe, is the essence of building a software. So because if you have particular problem to solve and you would like to, for example, save time and free up more time of your employees, then everybody is going to actually benefit from it, right? And what I can also see is that the shift towards the like emerging job positions and new roles, for example, because it's obvious that if you free up the time of your employees, they can reduce the tedious and mundane tasks, and then they can be more creative at job and thinking about more on how to add more value to the clients or to the organizations. So I believe that any technology, AI or just regular software development, is just a tool for us people, for human intelligence, and for businesses. And we should. I really recommend everybody to embrace it and not be feared about the technology advancements. It is actually very easy to create your own assistant, your own agents. You can use pre-existing software as a solutions. You can go to ChatGPT, create your own application, or you can use the API. I really recommend to play around and see how it works and try to come up with some useful use cases. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, and the panel for these interesting insights. I was just thinking of your comment, Ajida, about not being able to predict the future. I have some sympathy with that, and as Oscar Wilde said, it's difficult to make predictions, especially about the future. So I'm pretty sure, being confident, Adam was confident about this. I am pretty confident that you're all right, and I'm pretty confident that you're all wrong as well. But nevertheless, we are on this journey, and we will develop with development as things move along, and then we'll see what happens in 5 or 10 years. I mean, 5 or 10 years is a long time, and a lot of things will happen during that period of time. But it's an exciting journey, and we might as well enjoy the ride as we go there. Before I leave the floor to everyone on to ask questions to the panelists, Marius, is there anything you would like to add as a reflection, or?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So for everyone, the question is free for everyone to ask any questions to the panelists or to all of them. We have one over here.
Yes, I'm coming from Epiroc company, and you have seen a presentation also, and probably you could recognize that we put millions in investment in different technology, and I like that we stop talking only about AI. There are many other aspects, but here you spoke quite a lot about internal efficiency, getting different aspects of that. What about the business and business models? Do you think that market is ready to buy and to pay for this technology, whatever technology you speak?
I mean, I'm happy to answer this question. It's a very good question. Maybe my speech was a little bit biased because we mainly optimize internal processes within big companies. So that was my answer. However, speaking more of how to optimize your external activities towards the market, it's a very good question, and I think that it doesn't really need to be that expensive investment. I believe that everything depends on how you approach towards the business strategy, like whether you know your customer segments, whether you know customer journey, buyer persona, and your products, and then pricing, etc. And once you understand that, you can try to. You can basically use a simple LLM solution or NLP solutions that are out there on the market, and what you have to take care of is the correct input. So you have to gather information from your CRM, from your e-commerce, maybe invoices or a bunch of different documents, and basically prompt the AI to help you to first analyze the entire sentiment, what is happening, also define the best clients, what are the cost of acquisition, what is the lifetime value, and based on those outputs, you can also co-create with the AI the strategy for like go-to-market strategy or sales or marketing strategy, whatever you want. So it is a combined collaboration between human and AI, and in my opinion, you don't really need a big investment to actually do that today. Yes.
So any other views from the panel?
So I will confirm, yes. First, what you should do, you want to invest, you want to elevate something because you feel pain, yeah? And first you should do what one company should do. They should either to define processes or redefine processes. If there are not processes, there is no data to teach algorithm. If you have processes, you can start to measure, then after a while, that while means more or less 3 months, 6 months. You can back and forth with your AI algorithms or machine learning algorithms to find a real solution. But if the solutions are there, and as we manage to shorten the time of preparing the report from 1 month to 30 seconds, it means huge savings. So that is not investment. It's friction of cost cut we put to the getting new algorithm and self-teaching algorithm that you can use up there. So yes, market is ready to buy it, but it depends how you sell it. So that is my point of view.
Thank you very much. So what comes to my mind is like the testing and then testing it again and testing things against other factors and things like that. So when it comes to business model, I work with startups like every day. And what happens a lot is that they need to produce MVP, minimal viable product, and then test it again, and then develop a product and then test it. Like it goes around and around. But in my opinion, like the business model, it might happen that it works, but it might also happen that it doesn't. So instead of having like a product in your mind, like the desired product, it's always good to do the things in phases.
I can just give a short comment to that as well. When it comes to investment, of course, depends on the timing, what type of ROI you want. If you want a quick ROI or if you have more time to wait for the money. So, and when we talk about big investment, I mean, you need to have bigger companies. You have to have companies working together that have a long-term perspective, as well as sometimes even the state. So I think it all boils down to what's the ROI you are looking for.
Thank you. So we have one more question.
First to Epiroc, if you need help with Poland for free, please contact me. That's unusual to do things for free and with Poland or questions about technology and so forth, connections. I know. So the question is, and the original question was technological impact from the coming technology advancements 5 to 10 years within business. So the question is, you have, and perhaps some of you answer, you have 100,000 of some currency. How would you split it between technical investments and investing in your employees to have them increase their brain by 10%? How would you do the split of 100,000 X currency?
Let's say I'm from university, so I can tell you. Knowledge is becoming cheaper and cheaper. You can get everything for free or really cheap. Your knowledge is only, and reverse engineering is the factor how much you pay for something. Yeah, I would invest 80 to 90% to upscale my workers. Then I will use as much open source as I can.
Yeah, I would follow your path really, because as you say, knowledge is becoming less and less worth. But how to use the knowledge is a huge value, and I will also investing the most in the workers.
And back to the question about the market. I mean, with all due respect, what kind of question is this? Guys, if I told you that there are solutions out there that would cost you less and ensure better quality, are there any customers out in the audience? I think that is pretty easy. The only question is how to sell this product. If people, let's say, have a digital doctor, a digital engineer, a digital lawyer, would they use their services? As long as they're convinced that those services are indeed good quality, maybe even superior quality, and at a decent price. I mean, let's be simple.
The question is very
Your question, yes, of course. To answer your question, I would certainly invest in people. The technology is coming as something subsequent to the investment in the people. At least the answer for now is this.
Okay.
5 years perspective is long enough. 10 years is impossible.
So one more question from the audience.
Okay, my name is Jarek Rominski. It's actually a pleasure to be a part of this meeting and to participate. I find that we are very close to a new era, and this new era is, of course, AI. This era will be defined by AI. And it's kind of like similar to internet. And some of us remember how chaotic it was with internet. We didn't have any legislation. We didn't have any law system, nothing at all. And I think that this is very promising that we have lawyers who are actually interested in technology. And in this way, we are able to avoid these basic mistakes that actually we have done some years ago when we actually went into new era called internet. But my question is with regards to what I said in the beginning. If you have any information regarding legislation and the law system that is supposed to be introduced when it comes to artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Any volunteers? Or should we pick one? There we go.
Thank you. You probably have heard about the AI Act. It is already in force. There is a time frame for implementing the entire text of the legislation, and the nearest deadline is the 2nd of February, when the so-called banned AI services are going to be effectively banned and sanctioned. That's the nearest one. But maybe even more important is the 2nd of May, when companies that deal with manufacturing of AI services, they need to adopt certain codes of practice. And then there is 2nd of August, when a major area of AI manufacturers is going to be regulated. So the time frame, at least in Europe, is pretty clear. And there is more to come. There is the AI Liability Directive, which I mentioned before, and we are still at the legislative phase. And is this going to be sufficient? Of course not, no. The law often is late in regulating certain phenomena, and I have no doubt that lawyers are really late to this party. But that's what life is all about. You know, we need to deal with situation as it develops. And both businesses and consumers and lawyers will need to deal with it. Just as you rightly pointed out, the phenomenon of the internet, when no legislation was ready. Now there's this whole excitement about the future. But are we ready? Certainly we aren't to regulate properly every aspect of the development. But we will going to deal with it. I am quite certain about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think it's about time that we try to wrap this up. We have other things on the agenda. Let me just end on a somewhat philosophical note. Presumably we, and obviously, we live quite different lives as human beings today compared to humans a few thousand years ago, even a few hundred years ago, even 100 years ago. And many of you have certainly read Harari's famous book, A Brief History of Humankind, and the notion that a lot of humans' success on this planet is due to our unparalleled ability to believe in things that do not exist. Our fantasy is the unparalleled tool for our success. And the planet is the same as it was a few thousand years ago. So I would, in a way, you could say that even in the Stone Age, they had Wi-Fi. They just hadn't discovered it. And the same thing today, that we have so many things that are readily available on this earth, but we just haven't seen them yet. So that gives us hope for the future, that we will come up with new discoveries of what this earth has to offer, but not least, we will also come up with new fantasies regulations is a good example of fantasies, which are very helpful for humans to develop and to develop a better way of life. So with that, thank you everyone.
And now we can move to another part of our meeting. So we have a special celebration today. We are going to celebrate someone who is particularly committed to this chamber and who is a tireless contributor to Swedish-Polish business relations. So I think on that note, I can pass the floor to
another role. Hi, I would like to ask Jerry to stand up. In the behalf of Warsaw University of Business, I would like to honor Jerry for building relationships between Polish and Sweden, business of course. And he joins also Nisse and Sverker, because they were honored before, as honorary professor of Warsaw University of Business. Here you are. Oh. And here is a diploma. And also I couldn't buy it. Oh. And you have second, you have here. So you can give short speech.
Yes. So, you know, it's a big honor. Thank you very much, Piotr. Thank you very much, all of you. It was a big honor in the presence of all these robots and in the presence of all of you. And I just, you know, feel humble and thankful. And now I will not take up so much more time because we are supposed to network. And that networking part is very important to the chamber because this is when you are supposed to do some business. Before we start networking, there will be some closing speech from our board member, Jacek.
Thank you very much, Jerry, and congratulations. Very quickly, I know that this is a very, very important moment of our meeting, our meeting to network and to build relationships. Just to wrap it up, what I particularly liked about our today's presentations and speeches was that it was very grounded. I believe that many of us are quite a bit, probably, maybe a little bit tired with the hype about the new technologies, etc. What I appreciate today is that it was grounded. It was about real cases and real life scenarios. That was actually very interesting, and it showed that we have new technology right now operating, and the future is right now. But it's not like, you know, a fantasy. So, thank you very much for that. Okay, we are gonna end our online broadcasting. Thanks to Mats Vara for making it possible, and big applause to Mats. Thank you. So the next part will be for those who are actually here in the Bonnier Huset building right now. I would like to thank all the panelists, all the speakers. Great job. Thank you very much. I would like to thank also fantastic moderators, so Mariusz Kowalski and Per Magnusson. Great job, thank you very much. I would like to thank Nisse, Hans-Jakob Bonnier for the opening speech. Thank you very much. And once again, thanks to Jerry for once again organizing this event. It's a huge work, and thank you very much for inviting so many people here and that we can meet today. Now, during the networking session, we will have the opportunity to eat some fantastic cakes by Dana Rogoza and her company Himelska. If you like it, you can go to himelska.se and order more. Thank you very much.